hopes for 25. Something
Okay.
easy.
Okay.
No Taco Bell tonight because everything is closed here still.
Jared, finally, their flight got delayed like 2 times today, but they're finally
Oh my
like in the air
gosh.
now.
Oh, my dad last night got on a flight early from LA to get back, and he took off from LA. I didn't even talk to him today. I don't know if he landed on time or not, but
Oh my God.
You
he
know,
took off at 7 o'clock their time to get back home. But
they got out of their driveway, and then they got stuck, and then they hit the road. They're like 3 miles away from their house, and then they got the text that their flight had been delayed. So then they had to go back home, got stuck again.
we got
man, what a day.
we got 12.7 inches.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Woo!
Wow.
No, thank you.
We had
There's
a
a reason
fair-
I left
we-
St. Louis. That's it.
Yeah, right. We have snow, but it wasn't like it's not like horrible.
Yeah, I
Now
thought you
the
guys were
roads
getting some
tonight.
today. Yeah.
We did get some, but like they did a good job on the roads. But now the roads are wet and it's going to get cold again.
Oh no.
Nice.
We
Yeah.
got sleet first, and that's what's under it. It's like a couple inches of sleet, and then it got snow on top of it. So we got like
Yeah.
probably like an inch of sleet, and then
The worst.
probably 10 inches of snow on top. Like Mallory, Riley won't even go out and poop because it's so deep. Like it's this morning, but because we get to shove like a little path. But now, like I took her out this afternoon, she's like not playing.
No, Daisy, that's why I was out of breath when I came in, because Daisy literally had me run all the way because she has to poop at the end of the street. And then, so I have to walk all the way to the end. Well, I live halfway down my street. Literally, she had me running back down the street, back to our house, because she's like, no, I'm done with this. Let's go. She said, I don't want to do this anymore.
Well, welcome to the podcast where your dog poops.
Yep, that's the one.
I won't share my stories.
Yeah, let's keep the two maximum on.
And when I say my stories, I mean about my dog.
I was
not me.
going to say, wait, Scott, is this a story about where your dog poops? Or where
And shout out to Jennifer here in the Westplex of St. Charles County, shoveling her snow as she listens and watches the show. She's out there working it too, where we got all the snow. All right, we are glad to have Pam back, and we are getting ready to answer your listener questions. So we need questions. Put them in the chat. We can also shout out to Jocelyn over on Instagram. I see Aaron and Alfred and a lot of friends over there, Zach. So getting ready. So we need listener questions. So if you have a question, please drop that in the chat. We need some fresh material for today's show, and we'll get that right here on the podcast. So we are up to episode 2621, and here we go. Welcome to episode 2621 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rahman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Wednesday to you and welcome to Marathon Weekend 2025. It is Expo Day for everybody who's headed down to run this weekend. Good luck, and hope you had safe travels down. And today is the day that you get to go get your bibs, maybe buy some merch. Good luck with that. That's kind of the most challenging part of the whole weekend with the virtual queue and all that stuff. And get ready to run the the butterflies and the stomach before the 5K tomorrow. It's all going to be good. The weather's going to be what the weather's going to be. You aren't going to control it. I mean, if you got there by now, that's the biggest challenge with that big storm that blew right through the middle of the United States this week. Hey, if you're in Florida right now, it's all going to be fun. We're going to have a great time. So come to the meetup, say hello, make sure you're there for the pictures in the before you go to the corrals. We're going to have a great time. So I can't wait to see everybody down there starting today. But today, special shows for you this week. The whole crew is here, all four of us. I'm super excited for this because she's back, and everybody's been asking. Pam Forrester-Koner, the Magic for Less Travel. So glad to have you back. Pam, welcome back to the show. Haven't been the same without you.
Thank you. I'm actually so glad to be back. It feels really normal, and indulge me for a moment here because there's been a lot going on in my life. We had kind of an emergency on the day after Thanksgiving, and my husband, Steve, was burnt in a kitchen fire that on his face and arms and chest, and was flighted to a nearby hospital. We were visiting friends up in Massachusetts. So we spent a little over 3 weeks in Rhode Island at the hospital, and I had posted about it on my Facebook. It was just sort of a long thing, but I just want all of that to say, we have been overwhelmed with support and thoughts and prayers and just everyone reaching out, overwhelmed in a really, really good way, I will say. There's nothing like something like this to sort of put everything in perspective in so many ways. At the end of the day, I think the thing that I think about every day since this has happened was just how grateful I am for so many different things, for the actions of everyone who was there with us that day, how they reacted so quickly and exactly the way they were supposed to, and probably saved his life. How grateful I am for the people who responded to this emergency, how grateful I am for the people that took care of Steve, from surgeons to other doctors to his nurses to everyone there at the hospital, and how grateful I am just for all the support that has happened. It's weird. Like, I think everyone has a sort of relationship with social media, sort of a love-hate relationship, right? Because it brings out the worst in people at times, but it also really brings out the best in people. And it was really sort of the easiest way to communicate with a bunch of people at once about what was going on in our lives and how things changed. And I mean, also like texting and things like that. But the support is just overwhelming in so many different ways. It's very, very humbling. And I just want to say what a really unique community we have here, because it's really just a very good thing. And so that's all I can say, probably without getting too tearful or too emotional about the situation. But, thank you all. Really, really appreciate it.
And I'll just speak for the crew and for our community, is that we really missed you. And, we're all family here, the four of us, and, our extended community, everybody that hangs out in the Discord, everybody that runs with the lizards. And I can't tell you how many emails and direct messages I got on the social media that, where's Pam? She could, because, people didn't, everybody doesn't listen to the show the moment it comes out sometimes. And I do this with the shows I listen to. You get behind, it was the holidays. It was, that happens. People fall behind. People listen to Christmas music. Yeah. You fall behind by a few episodes. All of a sudden it's like, hey, Pam's on the show. Did you quit? No, and so we're just so glad though that we're all back together, because, we always have that holiday show where we do the bit where we, exchange gifts and rip.
Because we're there together exchanging gifts.
Exactly. Why are you lying to people and telling them we're not?
Exactly. We are all in the dimly lit Christmas studio. That's right. I forgot about that. Yes.
Yes.
But, it was pretty cool this year, but it didn't have the same vibe, and we'll have that for 25. That'll be one of our goals. But
for sure,
it is a unique community, and we're just it makes me extremely happy to see a 4-box here. We don't normally do 4 people because it's kind of hard to do 4 people, but I wanted to have it for 1 week here because this is our family. This is my extended family, and I'm just glad to see everybody back. So we are going to do this today. All right, just glad to have you. All right, also joining us, Rikki from DisneyWorldAfterAll.com. and the Mouse for Less. Rikki, happy Wednesday. What's up?
Happy Wednesday. And I just want to say that, Pam, I'm so glad that you're back. And I am so, again, as you kind of expressed, I'm so thankful to everyone who was able to assist you and Steve and Hannah and, and everyone else in this, I guess, journey that you had to go through. I'm so, I know it sounds weird to say I'm happy about the outcome, but given how things have seemingly happened, I'm happy that the outcome is as somewhat positive as it has been. Again, that's a weird sentence to say, but like, I'm so thankful that everything is more or less, okay-ish, and that you guys are okay-ish, and yes. Our thoughts and our family has been thinking about you guys for since you messaged us. So we love you, and we're so happy that everything is okay-ish.
Me too. Me too.
Let's hope this is a good year-ish.
Yes, yes,
for sure.
25, a great-ish year. So speaking of ish, It's my buddy Ish. Nah, he's my brother. Scotty G.
Scottish.
Hey,
Scottish. There you go.
Scottish. I got to tell you something. My dad, he was, talking to my dad before I got on the plane Sunday night to come back to St. Louis after the Rams game. And he said the Rams, they won a piece of the Lions. That was the team they were hoping to play. They want revenge. Just saying. Scotty G from Must See Adventures over on YouTube. They're a little fired up because it's got the Vikings. But if they beat the Vikings, we'll see. I know you look like Dan Campbell right now. The way you had that face, it looks like Dan Campbell threw up on you right now with all the gear you got on. But I mean, you had a Dan Campbell face right there for a second, man. I was like, God, throw the Applebee's outfit on you and put a menu in front of your face. You'd have been right there in a commercial. What's up?
We joked today, so our work cafeteria is like not our favorite thing, but it's really accessible, right? It's really easy. You just go downstairs, boom, you can get cafeteria food, but at a really ridiculous cost. But there's an Applebee's close to the
everyone
office.
wants.
Yeah, exactly. Not great food at a ridiculous price. Yes, that's exactly.
We joked today at lunch, like, you know what? We could just go to Applebee's and pay for the same thing. I mean, this cafeteria. We're like, this cafeteria is basically like the Applebee's of cafeterias. We could just go to Applebee's one day.
That's probably a good plan.
So it's kind of funny. I mean, I had the same sentiment as everyone said. Just, Pam, Steve, you all have been like friends, really great family friends for 10 years now. And I knew a lot of the people that were there at the incident. I'm so happy that everyone reacted the way they did, and you're getting all the care you need. We missed you. We loved you. Love you guys so much. And I'm just so happy that you're back and that Steve is back in Pittsburgh recovering.
Me too. And for those of you who live in this area, just know that Steve is doing his PT and OT at the Lemieux Center and trying to schedule according to Penguin Ice time. So
why wouldn't you do that?
It looks right over their practice ice. So yes, in fact, on Thursday, actually, that we will, that happens to be I think it's Thursday or maybe Friday, any day. Anyway, someday this week. This is, of course, what we'll be doing. So.
I love it.
He's trying to get a two-way contract, like one of those where you go between the minors and the NHL squad.
I mean,
he's like a one guy goes.
That one year at Hilton Head, I got him to customize his last name, like with a shirt jersey. He should just rock that at PT.
I gotta find that. Yes,
you gotta keep dreaming. You never know. All right, we have a question actually in the chat from Jay. He's over on X, and he has a question about the free check-in water park day, and this is a good one because it's topical because it is the beginning of January, and this is the new perk for Walt Disney World in 2025. It says if you're doing a split stay, can you take advantage of this partway through your stay on the day you check out of one stay on the boardwalk and check into Pop the new stay? So Pam, so let's see if you still have it. Let's give it to you.
I know, right?
Not
I'm scared. Have I lost it? You actually can. So what happens with this benefit is it is a benefit based on your stay. So for each reservation on the first day of your reservation, this will be something you can take advantage of, which is huge because we know how many people take advantage of a split stay, right? So that means not only do you get it at the beginning when you check in on that first night, but when the next time, if you have a different reservation number, you will also have it on that day. And that's the perfect way to take advantage of it because pretty much you can be in the water park all day from open to close that day if you want to. So something to consider when you're looking at that. But yeah, it's a great benefit. We've had so many guests really interested in this, like excited about this benefit. And I can see why. I think the water parks are often something that we all sort of are interested in, but then we're not sure we want to take a park day to do it. We're not sure we want to pay for it and whatever. So this is a way that you really are getting free admission to a water park. There's no catch. There's no whatever. It actually is a free admission to the water park. So go and enjoy.
So it really, the easiest way to think about this is like a split stay is just, it's not magical. It's two reservations. That's all it really is when you're doing two reservations. And so you get the entitlement for each check-in day of each reservation. So you can do it the day you check into each one. So just think about it that way. We had this discussion on Friday's podcast. We did an over-under, Pam, where we were trying to guess how many in practice through 2025. Because I think a lot of folks think things are going to happen 6 months before their vacation. And, you have the best goals, the best ideas, right? When you're thinking about your vacation 6 months before you go, 3 months before you go, 2 weeks before you go, you're always picturing like it's going to be 75 and sunny and your Uber is going to be, super efficient and, no, the kids aren't going to be cranky or hungry or anything like that. A lot of variables with Disney vacations. That's why when people get back and they email me like, we had the best time. I'm like, God, thank you. I'm so glad because there's so many variables. Like I try everything. And I'm like, once you walk out your door, there's 1,000 variables that can happen between the time you get down to Walt Disney World and, everything. Once you hit there, there's a million variables that can hit you there too. So I'm like, when you get back and said you had a great time, like, hallelujah. I'm like, just thank you. That makes me so happy because there's just so many things that could have happened, but I'm so glad you had an awesome time. And a lot of times it's just your attitude and how you roll with those changes. But we were wondering, like, in practicality, what would you say the percentage of guests that stay on site that will take advantage? Because we were doing over and under. Where would you throw that percentage? I don't even know where we threw it. We say like 25 or something like that, maybe.
I was very low because I think a lot of people are going to be in my situation where you get there late for a check-in and then the water park's already closed.
Yeah, because you would have to be like an early flight person. So I mean, that's probably eliminates.
Doing the split stay.
Split stay. Split stay would definitely be. Yeah, split stays is where this would rock because you'd already be there. Boom, check in, go.
And sometimes, like in the middle of your trip, like you want that pool day in quotes, right? So that could be your pool days going to the water park.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
So immediately when you posed the question, the number that hit my mind was like 33. Like I think a third of the people. And here's why. So there's a group of people like myself who take that first flight out in the morning, right? Get up like at 3 o'clock in the morning so I can be on the 5. Yeah. I know. That's the flight.
Taking off. Yep.
I know. So there are people like me, and I would end up using it that day, the day, that I check in. There's another group that like comes in a little later, but is still going to be there, right? And to take advantage of it. And there's also a group that this was thinking from way back of where people are like, don't get a ticket for your first day because you won't be able to fully use it. I think that was back from when tickets weren't less expensive, per day when you bought more days. Now, I always caution people with that because like the more days you purchase, the less they are per day. And you sort of have to factor that into it. But there's still that thinking is still out there. So people are like, oh, I'm not buying a ticket for my first day because that's a waste of a ticket. And so then they'll use this instead. And then, so I think that, and then there are the split stay people. So that's why I was going with like 33 and a third. So that's my thinking behind it. Whether it's true or not, I'm not sure, but
I like it because I had this discussion with one of our listeners via email this week, and it's
it's my watch.
Was I the only one here, Mickey? Or sometimes I think I hear voices. I'm like, I hope somebody else heard that because I'm pretty sure I
thought it was like a tape recorder on high speed at first, is what it was.
Everybody in our audience too is like right now just going.
Welcome back, Pam.
On the run, exactly. No, that's awesome because we all have the same watch. Everybody's got
I usually keep it on theater mode for that reason. I do it at church and at the podcast. So these are my two areas where I inevitably touch it.
Like, amen, Mickey. It's time to get to the buffet. Anyway. But I like having those discussions because I love hearing how people think about the mechanics of a Disney vacation. That stuff. That's why I love the Disney destinations. I just love how people think about things. All right, we have a question from Kaylee Rose over on Facebook. She says, "Howdy, longtime listener, first time question asker." Well, thank you. My family is going down in late February and is going to experience Festival of the Arts for the first time. What are some must dos? Thanks and gig 'em. Oh. Easy there, Aggie. You got me before I even looked ahead there. Also, no, you're a bit of a weather enthusiast, Mike. I'm a morning meteorologist here in College Station. Always happy to find a fellow weather nut. Oh my gosh, I love weather. We had thunder, snow right over my house this time. And it's like one of the rarest weather phenomena. It was amazing. 12.7 inches here, Weldon Spring, Missouri. Rock on. Sleet, thunder, snow.
You need to reach out to Jim
Mike Bettis was in St. Louis. I almost went down to find the guy to get a selfie. Or was it was either that or Seidel? I can't remember. It was one of the old classic guys from Weather Channel. That's how big of a weather geek I am. So yes, shout out Kaylee Rose. I gotta talk to Kaylee Rose. That's awesome. Okay, so Scott and Rikki both Festival of the Arts fanatics. So, Rikki, first of all, give some tips on Festival of the Arts. What are you going with? You're muted.
She's muted though.
But
Oh
those-
man,
those-
we just went back in time to the early days of the pandemic.
Oh my gosh!
Rikki, she recommends the mimes in French.
Yes, miming.
That is
exactly.
art.
It is art. Yeah. Hey, remember when they used to have the mime at the what was it, the Italy Pavilion or something like that? Yeah.
Sergio.
Sergio. Yeah.
Look at
That's where I was going with this. Totally. Yeah. No. So Festival of the Arts is by far my favorite festival that Epcot does. It's just so unique. I am, an artsy person in general. Like, theater was my thing, and so this is just. Now I'm not good at art. Like, if you ask me to draw something, I can maybe draw you a stick figure. So that's why I appreciate people who can draw because I can't do it. So this is like the most amazing festival. I love there's these chalk artists. They do some amazing work, and you'll see them, along the streets of Epcot. And I mean, seriously, you'll walk past, one day and you'll see like the basics of, some piece, and then you'll walk past maybe later in that day and it'll be more formed out and maybe even potentially even done. And you're like, wow, they did all that in chalk. And it'll be like 3-dimensional and everything. And you're like, that's just incredible. So that's one of my favorite things. There's also some really unique performances that happen they're acrobatic type performances. Those are really cool to get to experience as well. If you're into Broadway like I am, there's the Disney on Broadway concert series that you aren't going to want to miss. There's a lot of great performers that literally performed Disney on Broadway, like the Disney musicals on Broadway. So they bring out quite a few of those from the past. So you may see someone a person who was in a show that's not on Broadway anymore, or, you may see someone who's presently, or I guess recently presently, because I'm sure they probably aren't on Broadway now, if they're performing at Epcot for the time being. But so that's really cool too. And then of course you have the food. I mean, the food at this festival is by far the most beautiful food you'll ever see in your entire life. And it's good. I mean, it is spectacular food that they bring out for this festival. So if you're a foodie, this is definitely one that you want to take advantage of because not only is it gorgeous, but it tastes incredible as well. So those are kind of like my big tips of things that you don't want to miss for this festival. But I'm sure Scott has some amazing things that you don't want to miss too. So take it away.
I honestly don't have much more to add. You did a really good job recapping that.
That's good.
I've only been, I think we talked about this recently on an episode, Mike. Like, I've only been there like twice because the way the dates fall, like after Marathon weekend and before Princess weekend. So it's hard for me to. It's
such a short festival. I wish they would extend it out just a little bit longer.
I wish they would too, but I mean, my big thing was going to be the sidewalk chalk, like you can't miss that. Like coming up to Spaceship Earth, I still call that Future World. I call it the entrance to World Showcase from Future World.
It's the connector.
The connector. That's what we talked about, right? That's right, Mike. And then I'm a big theater nut. I just love any type of like live music, live performance. So definitely take advantage of being in the American Gardens Theater for those shows and the art. So I love Disney art. I have Disney art all over my house. Like I told the story how I met an artist there one year that has a lot of the art in our house, and he personally signed it for us. So we have it hanging. Actually, I have it hanging out outside this wall right here. So definitely look at all the cool art and make sure you come home with something special. It's hard to bring one of those huge like Jaclays or original pieces home, but make sure you can get like a nice little, 10. Whatever, but 5x12, whatever it might be, you can get a little something and bring home easily.
And like I think we talked about that too. Like you can get like the art of the resorts, like little art piece.
That's
like
what I have on my wall.
The Old Key West one, like it's just so because it reminds you of your trip, like where you're staying. I mean, it's affordable. It's not, it's not gonna break the bank. Hey, Aaron,
you see so much unique things too. Like there's like people riding like a bike that's creating art, like with like paint spraying.
It's true.
You got the figment paint by color thing that you can participate in things too. Like there's so many like cool things that are happening like throughout the World Showcase and in Future World a little bit too. So I like that.
Yep. Mercury Waxing, who's tuned in over on YouTube. Thanks
Love
for
that
watching.
answer.
Reminds us, they ship it for you too if you need to. I mean, if you get the big big dog. Like,
Yeah, I have this one up my stairs. Like, I got a Festival of Arts. It is a Epcot one, and I think there's like 60 some hidden Mickeys in it, but it's like the whole park, and it like shows like World Showcase and like all that stuff, and it's got all these hidden Mickeys. It is like one of the coolest pieces I own, and every time I go up the stairs, like I just kind of like smile when I look at it.
good. That's awesome. I have a picture like that here in the studio. You can't see it in my backdrop. It's up too high. It's above that that one share I have of Disney stock right here. It's from forever ago. It's right above that. It's from Marathon Weekend 2010. And what it is, it shows Goofy and Mickey running, but it's a I don't know, collage, but it's made up of many. It's everybody's individual pictures from Marathon Weekend. They just took everybody's like random pictures from race weekend, and they're all in there. So you got to find yourself running the races. And so like I'm in there like freezing from the half marathon, but they took everybody's pictures. And like when you stand back, it's Mickey and Goofy running, but you can see yourself if you look really close, like a magnifying glass. It's pretty. I wish they still did that. That'd be cool. Everybody would like that. Yeah, it was really neat. We have a question here from Aaron Marie 1626 on Instagram. Hello, BOGP crew. Heading in this Thursday for a split stay, running my first Goofy challenge and bringing our girls. They're 7 and 3. Would you choose Ohana breakfast or 1900 Park Fare? Girls 7 and 3. She's running her first Goofy. Got to give her a bell for that. Good luck on the 39.3. Pam Forrester, what say you? Let's go around the horn. Let's do it around the horn. What do you got?
So honestly, I think I would choose 1900 Park Fare for a couple of reasons. I think that, first of all, I think that there's some characters at 1900 Park Fare that are very unique that you can't see in different areas at like Chef Mickey's and Garden Grill and all these other character things that are a little more challenging to find. I mean, Tiana is someone who, you know, is scheduled to appear there. Aladdin. So it's really sort of, you know, focus on wish makers, you know, that's sort of what the theme is of this new breakfast. And I also think that the Grand Floridian is just sort of an impressive resort to go to for things. I think you walk in and sort of the lobby is, you know, really impressive to see. It has a Victorian feel to it. It just is very grand, as the name implies. And I remember when Han was little, that is exactly the kind of place, you know, that she was super impressed with when she was little. She loved seeing that and doing that. Not that the Polynesian is not. It is impressive, but I just love the idea of being at the Grand Floridian and being able to see those things as well. So I think that's why I'd sort of lean toward the Grand.
For 7 and 3, they're probably going to eat the same thing, right? They're probably just going to eat like bacon and eggs and
right.
all like the pastries and stuff like that. I would guess the food's probably going to be similar for the girls. Okay.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, so yeah, so you're probably going to get more unique characters, more current characters at Grand. What would you say, Scott? Where would you go with these?
So I'm going to answer this question with a question, and it's just like how well do you know your kids? Because I don't know them. How is the 3-year-old going to act to like a talking character or a huggable, fluffy character? You know what I mean? Like a mask.
That's a good question.
Free character, yeah.
True.
So I would just know, like when Emily was 3, she might have leaned one way or the other. Like the talking to the character might have creeped her out a little bit or the other way. So I would just kind of think about that, like what type of character do they deal better with? Because you got different types here. So if they like the talkable characters, I'm 100% going with 1900 because I just had that Wishmaker breakfast on our last trip and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really well done. But if that scares them a little bit, then you might want to do Ohana.
Yeah. What do you say, Ricky? That's a good point. That's
a very good point. And especially after having just taken Lucy to try to meet Mickey, that did not go very well, by the way. I was the one with the screaming toddler. Actually, she was the one who was shaking her head no. I do not want to meet Mickey. Please keep that mouse away from me. I mean, it's an adorable video, but you know, she definitely was not, you know,
it's adorable if you're her parent.
Exactly. Dear me, no, thank you. So the face characters might have been a better choice for that. But I will. Let's put it this way: I haven't been to Ohana in a while. But it is a family style meal, meaning they will bring the food to you. So there's that part. That part's nice. especially after running. You may not want to get up to go get food. So there's that.
39.4 is a long way. 39.
Exactly. So there's that option. I will say I have done 1900 Park Fair since they reopened it, and I found the food to be very good. I wasn't the biggest fan of the characters, and it's not for the reason that you think. I wasn't like, I didn't care what, I thought that the mix was fine. I liked that it was Mirabelle and Tiana and Aladdin and Cinderella. I liked the mix. I felt like the character experience was extremely rushed though. Especially with a toddler. So I didn't feel like, Cinderella spent a lot of time with Lucy when we did it, but the others really didn't. And they kind of like, it felt like they blew past us a little bit. So in that regard, like I especially for how much I was paying, I was like, I would have rather had a better like a character experience. So with that being said, I do feel like that was a little bit rushed. So you may have a better experience at Ohana just for that purpose, but I haven't been to Ohana in a while, and I certainly haven't been with a toddler. So I can't speak to that, but I can speak to 1900 Park Fair and my experience there. So there's that. The food was really good though. So
I haven't done the new one at 1900 Park Fair, so I can't really give a recommend. I love the breakfast at Ohana though. I love that with Lilo and Stitch, and I think Pluto's and Mickey's there, right? It's still no.
I think I like the food spread better at 1900. I really do. And then like you can like order omelet through your server and all that stuff too. They have the carving station and all that. Like I found the offerings to be really good there personally.
Yep. I just like going to the Poly. Like the Poly's my jam. But I mean, either way you go, you're gonna like it. And Erin followed up. She says, my 3-year-old's very talkative with both characters. Last trip for Princess last year, she told Ariel to wait a minute while she was eating her bacon.
There you go.
Time out, Ariel. I gotta finish the bacon, then we can continue our conversation.
I think 1900 is the way to go. But I know like marathon's coming up, so I don't know if you have both of those reserved or not. But you like, I know those are hard to get reservations. So good luck with that.
I like this 3-year-old. Ariel, hold on a minute, man. I got bacon to eat.
Hold on.
Yeah, hold on. Okay. Let's power through a few questions here. Let's go a little quick. Okay, so JMS424 over on Instagram says, hey BOGP crew, we're doing a split stay this summer at Boardwalk and the new Polynesian Tower. Any recommendations for picky eater friendly restaurants near those resorts? Oh my gosh, they have picky eaters too. I can relate. So the Boardwalk for a picky eater or around the Polynesian.
Beaches and cream maybe might be
good. That's a good option. Beaches and cream.
Yes.
You can even get like a hot dog there or something, so
yeah, that's true.
You could go to that Boardwalk, the stand there on the Boardwalk that's got the giganto mozzarella stick. Who would
that? And the corn dog, but don't get the pickle one.
Get the side. Yeah. What's that? What's
side of chips?
No, the pill that keeps your heart pumping.
Lipitor? Wait.
Lipitor, yes. Get the Lipitor chaser with that mozzarella stick, and so everything balances out.
Yeah,
because that thing looks like a yard of cheese.
Yeah, the Boardwalk Bakery too. It has just some regular foods like sandwiches and stuff like that. So Boardwalk Deli. I know they changed it from bakery to deli. Why? Boardwalk Bakery was
because bakery indicated that it was sweets, I guess. I don't know.
Here's what I'm saying for our show for 25. We are now going to be around in our 17th year of podcasting. We are allowed to call things by their old
what they used to be.
I already did this episode. I called it the Future World, and I just can't.
Right. We're calling things the Boardwalk Bakery. I mean, come on, guys. We're stick with
it. But literally, how is anyone supposed to remember the new names for Epcot? That's not okay.
It's not. I've tried studying it, but I can't figure it out. I have a
picture on my phone in my favorites just because I have no ability. I must have lost the ability to retain new information. I think that's it. We're all done. We can't
part
do
of the
it
reason
anymore.
too, Pam, is we don't want to retain that information.
100%.
It doesn't make sense.
100%. How are there more than one? How are there more than two lands at Epcot? There's Future World and World Showcase.
It's so simple, dude. In the front, it is it's science in the front, it's social studies in the back. That's what I told my wife.
It's the mullet of Walt Disney World.
It really is.
Business in the front, party in the back. Hello.
Billy Ray Cyrus. I mean, telling you, man, this is like achy breaky heart. Anyway, I wish I had that on the soundboard. I don't. Dang it. Missed the opportunity. But what about over by the Poly Tower, though? Something on the monorail loop. What would you do for picky?
The Temple Cafe is something I was thinking.
I was thinking Gasparilla Grill, actually. So.
I love that too.
Yeah.
I just think Captain Cook's is going to be a little like adventurous.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Even the nachos there are kind of those weird chips.
It could be. I think too, the Grand Floridian Cafe has a lot of standard fare that would be easy to do. And even the Wave, like the Wave has some stuff that is, you know,
Pam's going back in time.
Yes,
again.
the Wave. I love it.
It's Steakhouse 71 now, Pam.
It hasn't been the Wave for 5 years.
Yeah, truth.
People are looking at the Wave, they're like, the Wave. Find the Wave online.
Yeah, I mean, I forgot to say at the boardwalk they could go to Captain's Grill too.
Yes.
We're gonna go back in time. The whole rest of the podcast only incorrect old names.
You said that you were dead committed to the Wave right there.
Oh, I was. I'm picturing it in my mind too. Mike of the Wave. You're going to the Wave.
Missed the Wave.
Yes.
Oh my god.
That was all. It replaced all food and no fun.
No. Yes.
It's so bad.
Side note, that's a heck of a split stay. Like I really like the boardwalk and the new Poly Tower.
Those are, awesome. You're hitting the two big areas there.
I want to check out that new restaurant at the Polynesian there, like that little bar lounge area. I
actually did on my trip that I just took. Yeah, it's Wailulu, something like that. I think is what it's called.
Yeah, I don't know what the name of it is. I might check it out while I'm down there. I'm just gonna go to the name of it, but yeah, I'm gonna go there.
Yes, I think it's Wailulu. I think that's how it's pronounced, or something like that. But the outdoor section is gorgeous. I mean, oh my goodness, it's absolutely beautiful. You can see Cinderella Castle. You can see the Magic Kingdom. I mean, it is a fantastic view. If you wanted to see fireworks from there, that is a great spot. I can guarantee that when that spot opens up for like actual dining reservations, that fireworks time is just going to be ridiculously hard to get. So just a heads up on that. The bar area is really nice too. It's a really large bar that they have. So there's plenty of seating around there, and that is first come, first serve for the bar. Obviously, it's first come, first serve right now for the restaurant as well. Now, we actually dined inside at the restaurant, and it's beautiful as well. Now, the food is excellent. It has kind of obviously that Polynesian flair to it, but it was really good. Now, I got a pork chop, I think is what I got, and it was like a barbecued kind of pork chop. It had good flavor. But then Brian got the fish that they had, and oh my goodness, I immediately regretted my pork chop. Don't get me wrong, the pork chop was delicious. The fish that he had was spectacular, and I was like, oh, if I could just eat the rest of your fish, I would, but I'm not going to do that to you. So, yeah, it was a really good meal, and we will certainly be back. And I will be getting that fish next time for sure. So it was really good.
All right, let's sink in one more question here. We almost lost you there for a second. You hang in there. Your internet. I think Brian went and watched a.
He probably did. Yeah, exactly.
All right. Jamie says, "Good morning, Mike. I need some advice on transportation from Animal Kingdom to the various parks each day. Maybe it was the lodge. I don't know. We'll see.
Be the lodge.
We're trying to cancel our flights that I booked in November because we've heard that it's easier to drive and park from Animal Kingdom to most of the parks each day. In the event that I cannot cancel the flights without losing money, would you recommend renting a car versus the bus transportation to reduce the time waiting around for buses? And curious if you have any clients that do that, if they found it to be less time consuming. Thank you so much for your input. Best, Jamie." So if you're staying at Animal Kingdom, it's the lodge. Let's say it's the lodge. I find the bus transportation fine from the lodge. Actually, I was just there a couple of weeks ago, and it took we did 3 parks. And I don't find the buses to be an issue at all from Animal Kingdom Lodge. It's one of those. Again, I think this gets back to what I thought years ago about Coronado. I never stayed at Coronado, because for some reason on park map or like on resort maps, I thought, because they called Coronado an Animal Kingdom Lodge resort for one thing. God, that was so, I don't know why they did that. and they made it look like it was like out in the boonies.
Mm-hmm.
It could not be further from the truth. It's dead in the center of property. It's close to everything. Now Coronado's my jam. I stay there all the time. I'm going to be there today. But I don't know. Let me ask Scott, because Scott, you're a car rental guy. What would you rent a car if you're an Animal Kingdom Lodge?
I just like having a car in general, but and that part of that reason too is because I like to do a lot of resort dining. I like going to the resorts and looking at decorations for resorts and such. So it's easier to get from resort to resort with a car. But they're just going to the parks. I mean, the bus transportation really isn't that bad. And honestly, like I have a thing where I like to just keep going, right? I don't like standing around waiting. But if you wait for your bus and get on the bus, they drop you right at the front of the park. But with your car, you know, you got to walk out to the parking lot, find your car, especially at Animal Kingdom Lodge, because it's just one huge parking lot. So you got to walk out there, find your car, then you got to drive, then you got to park, then you're going to have to walk back up or wait for a tram and all that. So by the end of the day, like it probably like washes itself out, especially at Magic Kingdom, because Magic Kingdom, like you have to deal with the ticket and transportation center. But I just like to keep moving. So that's why I like having the car. So I can just like, I don't have to wait for a bus. I can keep moving. I can walk up to the park. But at the end of the day, I think it's the same amount of time, really.
Pam, you're a driver too. I mean,
and I am, but not again. It's not because I think that Disney transportation is bad. That's not it. And I certainly don't think Animal Kingdom Lodge transportation is any better or worse than other transportation options at the other Disney resorts. There was, again, I think in the beginning, there was this idea, like Mike mentioned, that the Animal Kingdom resort area was somehow further away from everything. And it just doesn't bear itself out in that space. I mean, because of location, it may take a little longer, but the bus service itself, I think, is fine.
You know, yeah, like 5 minutes each ride. You know,
exactly.
And it's a nice stop location too. Like I feel
it
like
really does. Yes, it's right there.
Mm-hmm.
It's not far at all from like the
right
lobby area. Yeah, exactly. It's covered. All of that. So I think it's a nice location. I think I rent a car just for a lot of the same reasons that Scott does. We do a lot of resort to resort transportation, and that's the most challenging kind of transportation at any resort, not Animal Kingdom Lodge specific, just because you have to go to some place like a park or Disney Springs. See, I said Disney Springs.
There you go. Look at you. Look at you. You're getting with the time.
But
I thought I was going to Disneyland.
Right. Exactly. But because you have to go to some place where you can change buses, because the yacht club doesn't have buses directly over to the Polynesian. That's just not how it works. So that's the only reason why. And because we do that so often, that's why we rent a car, and we go to places off property sometimes too, and all of that. So
it helps with the airport too, because like Magical Express being gone, it kind of helps with that, so you don't have to do a ride share or whatever from the airport. So yeah, when you consider all that, it's like, well, I find some value in the the
Yeah, exactly. But I would not cancel my flights.
No, I wouldn't either. Yeah, going back to that, I would not cancel flights.
No, unless you live 2 hours or less away, I would not cancel my flights. So
unless you just had a big snowstorm.
All that, yeah.
But I will even say this too, like I still use Disney transportation when I have the car. Like
to Magic Kingdom every single time.
Absolutely to Magic Kingdom, or if I'm like, I'll even like rent a car when I'm at like staying at a yacht or beach club, and then I could just walk to Hollywood Studios and Epcot. But so sometimes the car just sits in the parking lot, but I just like to have it in case if I need it, if I need to go off property or whatever. But again, it's not obviously not for everyone, but it's just nice to have. What
the car does when you're down there, and again, I don't rent a car, but it gives you the opportunity to be in control of your own situation, right? Like you have that. I mean, it's at a cost, right? Like anything else, but I mean, you have the option to say you can get out there and go whenever you want, like just like Pam and Scott both just said, like you can go from Animal Kingdom Lodge directly to French Quarter to get a beignet. Like you can do that in the spur of the moment. That's going to be difficult.
As long as Disney security lets you in, but yes.
Right. Well, but, I mean, you can probably make that happen. But that is a challenge though nowadays sometimes. But, with Disney transportation, that's a challenge, right? Otherwise, if you're on your own, you got to go to Disney Springs, catch a boat, or a bus, and that's going to take twice as long. But I mean, it's also an adventure too. I got to look at it. So, all right, we're going to wrap this one up, but we'll be back on Friday. And Friday, we're going to all be together, and we're giving our Disney resolutions for 2025. What are our goals? What are our hopes for this coming year when it comes to the Disney destinations? Cruise Line, Disney World, Disneyland. We're going to talk about it. So come on back with us, and we'll help you get through. If you're running this weekend, you can take us right out on the course with you for the 10K. Well, the 5K already done, but you take us the half marathon and full marathon. All right, so we are going to be there, but until then, don't forget our show brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you plan that awesome 2025 Disney adventure. Guess what? You got your PTO time restocked. I don't know how that works. I don't do that, but you probably do. I know Scott, he's smiling.
I do. Yeah.
You get so much PTO. I
do.
don't know how it works, dude. You're always on PTO time.
I just strategically used it around holidays, Mike. That's what I do.
In the USA Today, like at the end of 2024, like the last, like that Christmas week, they did a story, like how to use, I think it was like 12 days to get like 38 days.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I was like, dude, Scott Gardner wrote this.
That's what I do. Yeah.
Exactly. I was like, Scott wrote this article. Anyway.
That's why I'm always, if you have questions about crowds at Disney, I just know because I always go at the busiest times when the holidays are happening.
But it's called wave season right now. Plan that trip. You know, it's seriously, we talk about this all the time. Put a $200 deposit down for your Walt Disney World vacation, your Disneyland vacation, lock it in. You can always get, if circumstances change, that deposit's refundable until 30 days prior to the vacation happening. So you lock in the rate, you get your desired resort, your dates, you're set, and that dream, it's in your heart. It makes these snowy January days much more bearable, knowing there's a vacation on the horizon. Do it for cruise line too. And it's time to book that trip. So just swing by and check out all the details today. Great deals out there right now. Guess what? Free dining's back for the summer too at Walt Disney World. So check it out over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link when you shop online. That one extra click supports everything we do throughout the year. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you to our Patreon supporters. You guys keep us on the air. Thank you so much for that support. You can support us as well. Just $5 a month. And for that support, you get a bonus show called Mike in the Midwest. Come over this week. We'd love to have you. Patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. You can follow the crew on social media. I'm at beourguestmike. Scott's at epscott. You can also find him on YouTube at Must See Adventures. So check that out as well. Rikki is at Rikki Nibs. You can check her out at a DisneyWorldAfterAll.com, and Pam is at TMFLT Pam. And of course, themagicforless.com. All right. Also, no live show this Sunday night because, of course, I'll be just wrapping up my trip down at Marathon Weekend, but we'll be back in 2 weeks. And you can check out all the fun, but I'll be posting everything over in the clubhouse, beourguestpodcast.com/clubhouse. Lots of folks will be posting over there. So coming over for the fun that we have over there daily, hourly, minutely. It's fun. So we'll see you over there, but come back Friday. We're going to have a fun show. But until then, for Scott, Rikki, and Pam, I'm Mike, wishing you a great Wednesday. Stay safe, stay healthy, and go get that 5K tomorrow. We'll see you real soon. Pam is making enchiladas tonight. I can smell them.
I know we're having something with asparagus. I can't remember what the protein is.
I made sausage and tortellini soup.
Ooh,
I like that.
I'm going to Pam's house tonight. I will probably have a either frozen fish fillets or frozen pizza because it's podcast night and Brian doesn't know how to cook. So I'm gonna. That's
anyone up for frozen pizza?
Yeah, exactly. That's about the extent that we have at our house. It's either that or we go and get a pizza. Usually on Monday nights. So,
ooh, dude, I'm down for the Monday night pizza.
That's usually what ends up happening.
It's like a good, yeah, I know. We like Tuesday's our day. Like we'll have some, like I make a menu like every week, but Tuesday is the day that is most frequently we blow off whatever.
Yeah, okay, that's good.
You're like, why does Tuesday the work suck? Week? Yes, why does Tuesday suck?
No, for real.
We actually have an expression at work about Tuesdays that I can't say on the air, but I believe you, Pam. Like we know.
How about you text us that one? That sounds fun.
How about do not disturb? Okay, here we go. Let's get this rock. Here we go. This is 26, 23. What's that noise? Is that
my daughter?
Okay, this is like a squealing. Okay, here we go. Welcome to episode 2623 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from beourguestpodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Friday to you and happy 10K day to all the Be Our Guest podcast lizards who are getting ready to shiver out in those corrals this morning, bright and early. But then you get to run 6.2 magical miles. At least that's what it said on the brochure, right? No, it's going to be fun. We're having a good time running that 10K this morning, getting those medals. And hey, if you're running the goofy or the dopey, or, you know, you're running both races from yesterday, the 5 and the 10K, today's the day that you actually get to have the clinky when you go around the park. So the 5 and the 10K medal, you have the clinky thing going on. If you're just doing the 10K, enjoy every mile. It's going to be fun running around. I think it was today. Is it just Epcot? I don't even know. I don't look at the maps. Wherever it is, just when they say go, just follow everybody. That's what I do. And just, you know, till you see the finish line, just have fun. And then when they give you the medal and the thermal blanket and Gatorade or Powerade or whatever it is, a little towel. Well, I guess it won't be a towel this year because it's going to be cold, but have fun. Get the pictures. Have all the fun. And say hey to Kim if she's out on the course this morning. Hey, Kim. Hi. Hope you got my picture.
Yes.
All right, we have a good time today.
Fun pictures with Kim.
Yeah.
That's going to be the best part. Yeah. I can't wait to see those.
Yeah. My best tip, because Scott nailed me years ago. I am never trying the jump because, dude, he made a GIF of me one year, and I've learned do not try to jump because I cannot jump. I do not come off the ground. And if I did, that's the worst thing ever. Dude, that was the horriblest ever GIF.
Anyone who's seen you run know that your feet barely come off the ground.
I shuffle.
You do. I'm surprised you do not trip more. Like it's literally about this far off the ground.
Dude, I bit it hard at Disneyland in the half marathon last year, backstage at California Adventure. People are like, sir. I'm like, I'm good. But I was more mad because I ripped my favorite pair of Brooks running tights. I just telling Pam about that last night when I was packing. It's like, God, and I got them real cheap at an expo. I was like, these are my favorite tights. I did it. Right?
And I got them for
California
cheap.
Adventure. I did, but I ripped them right at my knee. Anyway, we're here to talk Disney. We're going to talk resolutions. Joining us, Pam Forrester. She's co-owner of the Magic for Less Travel. Crew's all here. What's up, Pam? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Wow. I'm glad I didn't miss the resolution show. I have lots this year.
We're gonna do it for Groundhog Day if we had to. I mean,
right? Yeah, I'm excited about this one. I am one. So I know this is annoying to some people, but I like the process of like goal setting and figuring out what I want to do and whatnot. For me, it's
like that. Who'd have thought Pam Forrester would like that? You know?
Right?
You're banned.
I know. But for me, it's like really cathartic because I think it's a chance to, first of all, celebrate the things that you accomplished in your last year. And I think like everyone should do that. There are things for which you can absolutely be proud. And I think look for opportunities for improvement for things that you're like, oh my gosh, I really wish I would have done that. And I don't think you shouldn't beat yourself up about it. I think from my perspective, do the Ted Lasso thing, be a goldfish, learn from what you can and move past it, right? At that point. So I think there's good perspective in that. And I love the challenge of like setting a new goal and looking forward to something. I think it's so important. And I don't know. I remember I had this conversation with someone once who was like, yeah, I don't set goals every year because I'm trying as hard as I can every day. And I was like, oh, okay.
Like you said that, and I'm like sitting here thinking for a second. I'm like, hey, wait, let me think that through. Like,
no,
I don't set goals because I'm trying as hard as I can every day. Because I do try as hard as I can every day, but
and still set goals.
From setting goals, I'm like trying to think. Okay.
Right? I know because I guess they
hurt. Yeah. Okay.
Right. That's how I felt too. I was like, oh, I'm sorry, or I don't like. To me, it's always like I'm always like, what is going on with you? If you, I don't know, like the whole opportunity to get up and improve is like an awesome motivator, I think, in that space. So, anyways, I don't know. Go get it and send me an email if you hate hearing about this.
People who know me know that I'm the most competitive person in the history of the world. Like I will compete in any kind of competition, like whether it's eating pizzas or running or not that I'm fast, but I will just I'm super competitive with anything. Like
what? No.
Oh, when I was a teacher, dude, my class had to win any kind of competition. We had accelerated reader. We destroyed every other class in that school every year. Like it was just like Rallman's class, and then forget it. You're playing for second place. Like my kid, I didn't want to read. You read that book, and you better pass that AR quiz. Get on that computer and pass the quiz.
Exactly.
Ramen. I don't like to. You never say you don't like to read. Reading is fundamental to getting a good job later in life. I'm only in 5th grade. Only. There's a
You're gonna need to read
right now. You get with it, kid. We got to win. No, just kidding. Scotty G is joining us. He's from Must See. It sounded terrible. I really was a good teacher. I promise you. I didn't get kicked out. I left on my own terms. Scotty G joining us from Must See Adventures over on YouTube. What's up, Scott? Please save me.
Happy 10K day. This is my favorite course over marathon weekend. I just love the 10K distance. You get to run through the boardwalk resorts. You run through Epcot a little bit. It's just a fun morning. A good energy. People doing dopey still feel pretty good. They're not like too intimidated yet. Some people, this is the race they've been training for all year. So like you just love them being out on the course, getting to the start line. That's always the hardest part. Waking up in the morning and having the guts to show up to get to the start line. So like mad props to everyone running the 10K today. But Mike, I got a couple ideas from what you were just talking about here. Don't know if you need any Give Kids the World fundraising ideas, but one, sharing that gift. I've never shared that publicly of you. So I'm just saying, I'm just saying we could share that publicly and show that gift off because it is quite hilarious of you trying to do that jump. And the second is,
was I in like that's like in Frontierland or something, right?
Yeah, it's in Frontierland. Yeah. It's like the half or the full. I mean, because that's the only races you really run through there. I can't remember which one, but yeah, it is. It's not just like how you lift your feet. It's like your face, like you're like your face, like reacts like your skin.
Man. Because here's the story real quick. I don't mean to cut you off, but like you and Jocelyn and Phil Scheingold, like you guys have like, especially at that Disneyland race weekend, like way from years ago, you guys had the most epic, like clicking your heels. You look like you're 3 feet off the ground in some of these pictures that you guys took. I don't know if you photoshopped them and you're just screwing around with me or something. But like it's one of those things in my head. I'm like, dude, I'm getting like Air Jordan Air on this picture. Nope, dude. No, I did not. And it was painful. And I don't know how you came up with that, but stop.
We'll have to discuss that. And the other one was, you said you're very competitive. You're competitive for even pizza eating. So I think we need to have a pizza eating contest to raise some money too.
Yeah, we could. That'd be fun. We should. That'd be fun. We totally should. That'd be a great competition. I like it.
I don't think it'll match Jay's Beverly.
Definitely not. No.
Bring that up. Dude, I can't believe he did that to his own intestines. Oh.
There's a lot of things I can't believe Jay's done. Let's be perfectly honest. So
for new listeners, Jay, friend of the show, that he lives right behind the Magic Kingdom, flies gigantic big Delta planes. It's amazing. Dude, please, these people can be like, they let a guy that did like 45 shots of Beverly, like on purpose, fly Delta planes. I know, right? I know. The next time you look into the cockpit, dude, somebody up and flying your plane with like 200 people sitting back there, he could have done 45 Beverly shots intentionally. But it was for
all for the kids.
Exactly. Your pilot today that you flew down to Florida with could have done intentional Beverly shots. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Ricky's here from a Disney World After All.com, the Mouse for Less. Ricky, happy Friday. What's up?
Happy Friday. And yes, congratulations to all the runners who are running this weekend. I, for one, am glad that I'm not down there this year because it looks like it's a little cold. And I don't love freezing my butt off while standing there. So, but I do miss cheering. Let's be perfectly honest. Cheering is one of my favorite things to do. So I am sad not to be cheering this year because it is so much fun to get the chance to do every time that I get to do it. So if you are going to be down there, please consider going out and cheering for the runners. It is so much fun. Give high fives, just do whatever, be support out there because those runners, they need it. They deserve it. And there's just, no better feeling being out there cheering on the runners. So that's so great. But on a personal note, I would like to give a huge shout out to my husband. Actually, for those who don't know, Brian over the past 4 years has actually been in school to be ordained as a pastor. And this weekend is his ordination. So I'm so proud of him. He's finally accomplished his goal, and he's actually getting ordained. So I'm so proud of him. So I just
like saved it for the goal-driven
awesome.
episode too. Like,
yeah, exactly. It was perfect.
Yeah.
way to go, Brian.
Yes.
I had it on the board for a reason. It's like divine intervention.
Stop.
It's not just for the buffalo chicken grilled cheese sandwich.
Every time you say charcuterie, you'll ding the bell.
Yes.
Every time Brian's name is spoken, you'll hit hallelujah.
Let's do all that. Yes.
I'm going to label this now the Brian button on the board.
That's amazing. Yep. That's good.
Yes.
That's good. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's great. I mean, you know, he has to put up with you. So there.
I know exactly. I always said there's some irony in the fact that I'm gonna be a pastor's wife. So you understand some irony in that fact.
That's true. Yeah, my favorite. So I got real quick. We gotta get on with the resolutions, but not mention the boardwalk because that's the course for the 10K. But I do love this course. You're exactly right, and I love that this race is like it's like an hour and 10 minutes of pain and it's over. Like I do like that because it's not terribly super long and you're done. But the boardwalk, if it is any kind of wet, like any kind of rain or dew or anything, and that boardwalk gets wet, dude, it is slicker than snot. And were you not the one that tried to give a high five and killed somebody?
I knocked someone out.
Yep. I'm just saying that's what
I came out there. I was cheering everyone on. I had my hand out. Like, I'll give you a high five. Someone gave me a high five. We connected, and their feet went right under them. And they had a dopey bib on, and I hope they got to finish the other two races.
Beware, spectators try to give high fives on the boardwalk because it is slicker than snot. And then I totally forgot the other one was, but I'll try to remember it. But anyway, so let's get to the resolutions so we can talk about our goals for the Disney destination. So we can throw something out for world, for land, for cruise line. So what do we have planned going into 2025? So Rikki, it seems like your internet is back. It was kind of fading out there real quick. So what do you hope to? What's your goal for 25? Like, what are you hoping to accomplish this year?
So at Walt Disney World, lately, usually for my birthday, Brian has been graciously granting me a stay at a deluxe resort. Or a different resort, I guess I should say, but lately they've been deluxes. So
it should have been hallelujah, Mike. No.
Yeah, that should have been hallelujah for sure.
Brian Button, exactly.
Not only did I say Brian,
but remember when Brian would only splurge for a campsite?
hang on. Let me tell you, he may or may not be looking at the cheap ways of getting these vacations. We only stay one night, and he's usually, booking it off, brand. So I'll just say that, like, he's definitely booking it at a discount. Yeah, exactly. But keep in mind, this is my fiscally responsible husband, as I've always said. So the fact that I'm even getting the chance to stay at these deluxe resorts is a miracle. So
the other thing I was reminded, Brian, my favorite Brian memory was just the marathon when we were running down World Drive and we were running. I was like, who is that guy that's swerving inside and outside of those cones over in the grass? It was Brian.
It was Brian. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's just
awesome.
like, I'm going off road. It's fine.
Less pain on his knees, he told us, run on the grass.
That's Brian.
He's off-roading, but that's fine. So my goal is to hopefully, we usually go for my birthday every year. So we don't have anything booked as of right now, but my goal is to hopefully get another Walt Disney World resort under my belt for 2025. That would be fantastic. So got a few options we can consider. But we'll see what he and I end up coming up with this year for my birthday. Hopefully, he has no idea, by the way, that I'm mentioning this, so I'm just kind of like trying to manifest this into actually happening. So if someone wants to message him and let him know that I'd like to
that he's upstairs playing with Lucy and have it on the 75-inch flat screen.
They do not. They are probably downstairs watching Harry Potter because that's what he's been watching for the last couple of days while I've been busy doing other things. So he's been.
Maybe you're going to say at a deluxe Universal Hotel maybe for your birthday.
Ooh, I mean, I've only stayed at a couple of the deluxe ones at Universal, but there's that new one. I'm sure I would not be able to stay there, especially at a discount this summer. But I would like to stay at Grand Helios. That would be pretty fantastic. Not gonna lie, that would be really nice.
Disney has dropped some 40% off discounts for this summer for deluxe.
Yeah, well aware. Yeah.
Oh, man. It's aggressive, man. I'm saying you come back to Disney. Let's forget this. Come on now. Let's
We'll see. Hey, I'm excited to experience Epic Universe this summer. Hey, you want to speak about other resolutions?
I got you.
Let's just maybe just I'll hold on to that one for a minute.
No, I got you. I know it'll all be about that, but so if you could stay anywhere, though, I mean, not because I know Pam's up there making enchiladas. She ain't listening to this.
No.
I know how this goes. She listens to me all the time. This is her free time. Right? She's like, "You have a Patreon?" She's like, "I'll pay $20 to not listen to you."
Good
like,
call.
I'll pay $20 a month for you to shut up.
Exactly.
Can I reverse Patreon you? Anyway, so no, but if you could pick a hotel, because like one that you haven't stayed at, like what one would you eye here in 25?
So I think one that I have my eye on is I have not stayed in the Epcot Resort Loop area. So I think I would probably want to stay. My dream resort would be the Beach Club because I've never stayed there. But I would be happy at the Yacht Club. I actually, when we were there was it Christmas? I think maybe it was Thanksgiving. Maybe it might have been Christmas. But we were, touring the resorts, and we stopped off at the Yacht Club. And I think Brian and I were actually talking, and that may be the one we stay at this year because we were definitely discussing the Yacht Club. And they usually have a pretty decent discount at the Yacht Club as well. So that might actually be on our bucket list for this year. We'll see what happens. So
Yacht Club is so sweet. I love Yacht Club.
Yeah. I just to be able to use that pool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Since my birthday's in the summer, that part would be fantastic. Yeah.
But is it going to be open by the summer?
Oh, that's true. If it's not open, then probably not. Ooh.
Because it's under refurbishment.
That's true. It is. Okay. I may have to do some thinking. Maybe we do the boardwalk instead. So,
boardwalk pool is awesome. I like
the boardwalk pool is awesome.
I think it's one of the most underrated pools, if you ask me.
That's true. Although it was much more scary when it was the clown pool.
No. Why do you take away cool stuff like that? I mean, who cares who's scared like 12?
It was supposed to be, by the way, the Yacht Club rehab is supposed to be done in June of this summer. So.
Oh, okay. Then we're good. My birthday's in July. I'm fine.
You're good. Yeah, there we go. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Everybody's like their trips into like, what, Mike? Shut up with what? Like, I'm just making stuff up. Okay, real quick, yacht or beach? Real quick around the horn. I'm yacht. Scott? Yacht. Oh, you're yachty because Scotty too yachty. Pam?
Yacht.
So there you go. Yacht.
There we go.
We're distinguished.
We are.
There's nothing wrong with beach. And I used to be.
I like them both, but yacht just seems, it's just more my vibe.
Yeah. Beach is more my vibe. So that's why I'd rather stay at beach, but I think yachts usually.
My wife used to think kids weren't allowed on the yacht club side. It still kills me. Our first trip, we stopped in there to get batteries. She's like,
that's where the dogs are on the yacht side.
Were you anti-dog?
No. I love dogs. No, I just say it's just kind of funny. Like kids aren't allowed over there, but dogs are. It's just kind of what I was thinking.
Okay.
I remember at the time, like a dog like barked at me like at 4 a.m. I went out super early to go for a run, and I closing the door quietly, like because like I didn't want to make a loud bang coming out the stairwell. Then I turn around and I hear. I woke up the whole resort.
This is why we got to have all 4 of us, man. I love this show. I mean, I didn't know where this was going. Scott sneaking out of the room at 4 a.m. to go on a run. I'm gonna wake up the whole resort, dog. Stop.
I thought that's what was that. It was like a Chevy Chase and vacation moment right here, just like with a dog barking.
I was thinking, dude, I watched an episode today. There was a dog on it called Tundra that was causing havoc all over the ship, but it could do awesome tricks. This dog could do everything. End up with his old man, his old like washed up comic. They were like a pair. Anyway, so Scotty, what are your kind of goals or hopes for 25 when it comes to Disney trips?
Well, I wrote down 2, but I already have a lot of great plans already in place.
I know. And yours aren't necessarily like the ones we mentioned too.
Right. I know. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going from one I haven't mentioned. So I'm in Disney Cruise Line fever right now. like no other. Like I just have cruise
Yeah,
fever. I don't know if it was the treasure or what just did it to me. And I went on a nice like 2-week cruise last summer. You know, I'm just feeling the cruises, and I haven't stayed on all the ships. I've been very heavy on the Dream, like tons of sailings on the Dream. I've done the Wish once. I'm about to do the Wish again in a few weeks. I've done the Fantasy, but you know, I really want to get on the Treasure, and I want to get on those classic ships. So like, I want to start getting towards that goal and knocking out those old ones. So here I am making an announcement, Mike, that you don't even know. But the Be Our Guest podcast cruise is sailing the Magic this summer, and I think I'm gonna book that so I can knock off the Magic for 2025.
Yes, we're gonna have fun. Yes, it'll be an epic. You need to, because maybe we'll have so much fun. That ship, I'm telling you, that's gonna. Well, I'll talk about it when that's one of my things.
But yeah, but I really want to sail the Magic, and then I got to obviously do the Wonder, which was probably an Alaska cruise at some point. And then the Treasure, I'm already looking at next year for the Treasure. Actually, I want to get on there earlier. I just want to book all the cruises right now. I don't know if it's because it's winter time or what, but I just got to get on those ships. I just love them so much. So that's my resolution. Probably bleeding to 2026 a little bit, but I want to knock off all the Disney Cruise Line ships.
Okay, we'll come back to that because I'm going to follow up with you on that. But Pam, let's go to you because you know you're in a weird situation here because you typically travel constantly, right? But you're going to have, like, travel's going to be delayed for a little bit because, of course, you know, Steve's recovering. Well, you know, but I mean, life deals you cards, and you know, you roll with them. But how are you looking at this, like, this year for you guys?
So what's so weird is, in some ways, like, we were gone from home for so long because we were out of state when this all happened, and so then, you know, we weren't at home, so we were just dying to get back home, right? And so now that we're here, I know that something that we've all talked with each other about was when we were in the hospital, when we were doing different things, the memories are like the trips, the travel, the whatever. So it really sort of honed in on like what's important and what are the things you want to do and what haven't you done and what have you done that you want to do again. And I think with, you know, the travel thing came up again and again and again. And I think like my motto for this year is just more. Like when we're able to do it, I want to do more, like more trips, more destinations, more locations, more people, travel with more people, you know, more experiences and just more time with my family. Like, I think that a vacation does that in a way that's just not possible at home. Not that it isn't still meaningful when you spend time with your family at home, but we all know there's a different way. Like, things are different on vacation. It just is. And I think that we've just really sort of latched onto that. And we've already started planning. We have some things happening. Steve, one of the things with burn that I didn't know was all your new skin is like baby skin, and he has to UV, big hats, rash guards, like all the things. I know, right? I totally didn't know that, but we're looking into all those things. Like, we will make it happen as soon as we can. And it just is one of those things that when you're looking for inspiration or reason to get better or feel better or to take your mind off of something or whatever, those travel memories are awesomely important. So we're going to do it.
Well said. I totally agree with that.
I'm just curious, like, when you guys, because you had obviously a lot of downtime in the hospital and stuff like that. I mean, you're just, you know, he's going through physical therapy and you're waiting to come home in Pittsburgh. Were you guys like, because, you know, Google does a good job of like on this day or, you know, like showing memories of past trips. You guys kind of reflect back on some of those trips and 100% kind of like to pass the time, because you guys have some awesome memories of trips and stuff like that.
We do. And you all are part of it. So we had, one of the first things we got for Steve was a Fire Stick as soon as we figured out how we could get it on the hospital TV.
Good call, yeah.
And that pulled from his Google Photos that rotated through like all those different travel memories and stuff like that. So it was so awesome to see. I mean, some of them went way, way back when Han was little and our first trip to Europe and stuff like that. So it was just really, really cool to see that. And we all talked about it. And even like we're driving him home and it was me and Moose and Steve in the car. And what were we doing like to distract ourselves? Okay, well, if you could stay at Disney World for 3 weeks, which resorts would you stay at and why? Like, you had to do 1 week at each one, or where would you go? I mean, absolutely. We did all these things. And it's just, I think that when you look back in your life and like the thing that impacts your life so much is the experiences you have with you when you travel, the people that you get to travel with, the experiences you get to see, the people that you meet along the way. I mean, if those don't have a huge impact on your life, I don't know what does. So for sure, those
I
things.
love that. I'm worried that the picture might have popped up of Steve, Scott, and I on the fantasy in the bathroom
well, yeah. It was there.
There's a lot of photos from the fantasy that might have popped up.
Here in the office too.
Sure.
Every time it comes up, I crack up.
I'm worried about some Hilton Head photos popping up on it.
For sure. There were a few things that popped up. That in the hospital was so hot I couldn't keep a shirt on Steve, and he would be like walking around the floor.
Oh my God.
Like for a while I was like, Steve, you have to put a shirt on.
You have please put a shirt
this
on.
isn't your room, whatever. He's like, it's too hot. I'm too hot. And finally I gave up at one point. I'm just like, okay. So there he would be roaming the floor without a shirt on.
Steve, that's Steve. I mean,
yes, it is.
Steve Forrester.
It is.
Seriously, I have a question though, honestly, because I'm curious about this. You are a travel expert, especially when it comes to Disney destinations. I mean, you're the person that the media would come to and ask. I mean, we many times in the Pittsburgh area, you will be on TV. We saw Kelsey, one of our great agents, was interviewed.
Right?
That was awesome. If I had to, I'm curious about this. So, when you guys get back to travel, what do you think would be a good kind of reintroduction? Because you said like Steve has to kind of stay out of the sun, be very careful of like sunburns. Obviously, you wouldn't probably want to have like maybe the Walt Disney World parks wouldn't be great because you're going to probably have like an inside kind of vacation for a little bit. But like, what are you thinking when it comes back to like maybe your first trip back? Like, what would a good?
We're not taking anything off the table because of the UV like protection garments that you can buy, and like he will have different compression garments and stuff like that he'll be wearing. So I think that we're not taking anything off the table. Like if you live in Pennsylvania in the winter, the one thing you miss is the sun. And I think we all
pretty there right now. Like almost probably like -4 or something.
My 10-day forecast is all gray. Like I don't know the last time I saw the sun.
Like literally, it's so bad. This is like, so we got snow this weekend. And of course, Steve can't do the snowblower. So Hannah and I are like, oh, dang.
Oh, no.
We have to figure this out.
Oh, no.
So literally, we're out there. The snow is blowing. Like the wind was so bad. The snow was so powdery. Not the best snow blowing kind of situation. I have never used the snowblower.
Oh, no.
Han has
He
used.
is loving this, by the way. Looking out there.
Yes, he is.
Right? I know. So I'm just like, oh man. I'm like, okay, we have got to do this. So I'm out there, and during the process it took to like snow blow some areas, at one point Hannah comes to me and she's like, go inside. You are miserable. I was like, I swear my hands were so cold. I'm like, what is happening? Why am I here? Why am I not somewhere better than here? So anyway,
Ask myself that question a lot.
Yeah, right?
I know, right? It was horrible. Like I was so cold. I'm like, I have to take a shower. I may never warm up again. Like
Yes,
this could be it.
Is the temperature of the shower scalding? No,
Yes.
it's fine. It's fine. And meanwhile, it's all the way on high, and you're like,
Yes.
it's fine. I promise.
100%.
They talk to you when the tulips come back up.
Yeah, exactly. So yes, we're not taking anything off the table.
That's good. I was thinking though, a cruise, right? Because I mean, you got off the
Yeah.
inside of the ship, but you can come off a little bit, have a little,
For sure. I think it's a good, yeah.
under an umbrella with a drink.
I see one in our future.
Cruise. Like I'm like Scott, dude. I'm totally engrossed in cruises.
I am too. I like it. Just
good.
there's some good stuff out there. There's some good specials out there.
Good stuff.
Yeah. When Scott called me about that Wish cruise, I'm like, God, you got the hack. Because I mean, I don't know, because it was a gift for the in-laws. It helped you out. You talked about that on the podcast, but I mean, man, you get to go on a cruise in February. Like
I know.
Wish. Man,
I like
really?
oh, I mean, I like if it's a month or a day that ends in Y, yes, I like cruising. But yes, but to
Oh,
get out of a Michigan gray cold and
Yes.
to see the Castaway Key or like it doesn't matter. I just want to be on the ship, honestly. But yeah, just
And
something
I-
about
A
being
ship.
away in those
Any
winter months.
ship.
Any ship, I'll take any ship. Well, maybe not any ship, but most
and I
ships.
hope the Lions make the Super Bowl seriously, because I want you to have that experience of, I mean, can you imagine like if your team was in the Super Bowl, and I'm very superstitious, so I don't want to talk about this too much, but like the vibe of being on a cruise ship where it's nice and warm and like the funnel vision party of, oh dude, can you
Dude,
imagine?
I don't know what I would do, man. I'm just like, if the Lions are in the Super Bowl and I'm on the Disney Wish, like just like it's going to be a dangerous night. I mean, I'm just going to be like, it could be like a long day, right? I might get a cocktail early in the morning, to
Oh,
calm my nerves a little bit, and then like I don't have to worry about like driving home. I'm in a safe place,
Right.
like,
They're not going to ask you to drive the ship.
Yeah.
So
No,
you're
they're
safe
not.
there. No
Yeah.
driving.
But then I told you my other thing, Mike. Like if that scenario happens, like the game is in New Orleans, so the winner is going to go to
Oh,
Magic
Walt Disney
Kingdom
World.
the next
Yeah.
day. Like I mean, then I have to add on and do that too.
100%, because it's meant Dan Campbell will be looking for you. And here, speaking of that real quick, kind of a hot take I have. I think Disney Cruise Line is really good at seizing the day for like moments like that, like Super Bowl, World
yeah.
Cup. Like when there's like events like that that kind of come around and like making an event of it on the ships. They're way better at the park than the parks and resorts at that stuff. I think that maybe they just, I don't know why, but they're great at that on the ship.
They're good at seizing any special moment, though. That whole campaign where they're asking people to share their Disney moments, their Disney memories, I'm like, that's genius, because 9 times out of 10, you walk up to someone and they're going to have a picture of themselves or their children or their relatives or family or friends at Disney World. Like, and what other destination or on a Disney vacation, whether it's World, Land, Cruise, Adventures by Disney, whatnot. But think about it. What other vacation company in the world could do that? No one. No
I
one.
agree. Well, it's a great campaign.
I agree. Jason just said he'd take a Margaritaville cruise if it meant the Dolphins would be in the.
See, that's the one cruise line. That's when I said like maybe not any cruise.
Here's the question: would you get on that little gambling boat that's in Port Canaveral that takes you out to gamble? Because I did that like when I was in college with somebody. We went out there and gambled, like because her grandma lived down in Titusville. So like grandma wanted to gamble. So we all went out on that boat for like 4 hours. Dude, I threw up for like 2 hours in the bathroom because that thing just bobbed and just, and it was all like 90-year-old people.
Cool story.
No. I'd be afraid it would be like that Carnival
How bad do you want
cruise
your team to, oh my God, every time I go
where
back,
people had to poop on their balcony.
You
Yeah.
know
Oh
what?
my
No.
God. Yes,
No,
no.
It's all full circle now. We're back to that now.
this boat would be small in the Mississippi River. Every time we go past that thing, we go out of Port Canaveral. And I know it's the same boat from like 1998.
Of course it
It was
is.
the trip. No kidding. This was the trip. I was down there watching. It was the Tuck Rule game when the Patriots were playing Oakland in the snow. I remember watching that game because I was still laying on the couch that night. Like I was like, oh, I'm still sick. Because I'm like, you take a guy out of Missouri and like put him on that gambling boat with like a bunch of 90-year-olds, and that boat was just like, and I mean, it was, that thing would have been, I'm not kidding, it would have been small like in Alton, Illinois. Like the Alton Bell was bigger than that boat. Why I got on that thing is I'm like, oh yeah, we're going on a cruise. I'm like an idiot. Every time I see that, I'm like, I almost died on that little bitty rinky dinky. And then I'm cruising by on the Disney Treasure. Like, who's the guy like from Gilligan's Island, the billionaire? I'm like, let's go to sea, Murdoch. My life has changed now. I'm not on that little rinky thing. Let's roll. Anyway,
Oh my goodness.
did I get to mine? No. So mine's basically, I'm really super excited back to cruise line. Excited to get back on the Disney Magic for the podcast cruise in July because fortunately I've been on all the ships again, but the Magic, the last time I sailed the Magic, 1997, the year cruise line launched. So I have not been on that ship in a long time. I've been on the Wonder back in, Mallory was like 6 or 7. We did a Mexican Western Caribbean cruise over spring break one year, just kind of like Scott on a whim. And so we enjoyed the Wonder. So that's the last time I've been on a classic ship, and we've been on the Fantasy and the Dream a lot and the Wish since then, the bigger ships. But I'm excited to get back on the Magic and just like Scott said, to experience the classic ship and the vibes and just because they got a different feel. And here's the thing. And Scott and I were on the air Sunday night for the call-in show, and Faison called in, one of our listeners from Seattle. And the first thing he said was, just got off. Scott will back me up on this. He said, just got off the Magic. And he said, here's the thing. He said, you would not know that ship is 26 years old. He said, you got off the thing. And he said, you're in port. He said, it looks brand new from the outside. And he's like, the cast members, the crew on that ship, amazing. And just everything on it is so nice. He said, you would not know that ship is aged in the fleet. And I hear this from my guests all the time when they get back off the Magic. A lot of folks say that's still their favorite ship. People that have sailed all of the ships in the fleet. And think about all the bells and the whistles now that like the Treasure has and the Fantasy has and the Dream and the Wish. And still people say, Magic's still my favorite ship. And I haven't been on it forever. So I want to know why people say that. Because they say, it doesn't feel crowded. It's got that intimate feel. I'm a Fantasy, my favorite. Fantasy and Treasure still my favorite ships. Fantasy's always been my favorite ship. The Treasure's probably my favorite ship now because the Treasure's amazing. The Treasure is my favorite ship. I got to say that. It's probably past Fantasy. It is. But it's Treasure, Fantasy, and then to be determined. But I want to see why are people saying the Magic? So I'm super excited for the cruise this summer on the Magic to get back to a classic ship. Pam, when was the last time you were on a classic ship?
It's been a while. So I really favor the larger ships. It's just because, when I sailed on the Wish, I said that one's my favorite. I think the Treasure is spectacular and has, thankfully I was able to tour it when it was in New York. And we spent some time on it, and it really, there's just so much to see and do on that ship. I tend to favor those. And I know that people love the classic ships. And that's why I'm so glad that Disney is making different classes of ships, right? So that there's something that really sort of appeals to everyone. But I prefer the Wish and the Treasure really to any of the other ones. But it's been a while. I think, when the Magic, I think, got redone, right? Remember that? It got reimagined.
Yeah.
I sailed then, and I've sailed one of them since then. So it's probably been, but it's been a while.
Because the Magic has the Aqua Dunk, right? The
Aqua Dunk.
So you're making a bank deposit down.
Basically, yes. Floor falls out from underneath.
No, thank you.
It was like my bed the last night of the Treasure Cruise. The 14 waves. It was crazy. And I think you're exactly right. It's a different experience. And I think different with a cruise line is great.
Me too.
Because you have variety. I'll be honest, in the since the first of the year, I've booked 4 guests on the Destiny, and that's coming around here, Treasure was such a far off thing. And now it's sailing, the Maiden happened. And now it's kind of doing its Eastern and Western thing. It's kind of taking the place of the Fantasy on the itinerary slots. And, before we know it here, the Destiny will be sailing and, out of Lauderdale. And that's a unique ship. That's kind of going to be different looking and different experiences. So I'm excited to see what the vibes are with that too. It'll be interesting. Yeah. More IP leaning on that ship, right?
Yeah.
Than the others. That's what I would say.
For sure.
Yeah. I know it's about our goals, but I have a question for you all because it kind of goes back to that great call we had on Sunday night. Part of the reason I really want, because my goal is to do all these ships, right? I'm a big Disney Cruise Line fan, big Disney guy. I want to be able to experience all the ships. But part of me is worried about these older ships, right? They've been sailing for a long time. Are they going to keep those in the fleet when they got these new ones coming? I think they will, especially on that comment about how you wouldn't even tell that the ship was 25 years old. Do you all agree with that?
They do a really good job of not letting the ships look worn down. And I think that that's something that, Disney has to be commended for doing. I think they have a way of refreshing. They sort of refresh that main stateroom area sometimes when they take it into dry dock to sort of give it that sort of unified and more contemporary look. And I will tell you, if they take those ships out of the fleet,
People will
There will be people
Yeah.
who will be
That's
mad.
true.
Oh, like
Yes.
the people you were just talking about, Mike, that like that
Exactly,
swear
because
by the classics.
I have guests that love the classic ships. I mean, they
Yeah.
are. It's just like, I mean, say, because I mean, you've said this, you've gotten people fired up, Scott. For example, when you're like, dude, they could just get rid of Small World at the Magic Kingdom, and I'd be cool with it. Dude, you get people having to take a blood pressure pill when you say that every time. Happened at Disneyland, it's fine, it's superior. Which I mean, I don't necessarily disagree with. It is better at Disneyland, and you don't have to have.
Actually, I
duplicate
personally prefer the one in Magic Kingdom. But
well, I'm
I
just saying, but I mean, like,
yeah,
when you
no.
say that, dude,
Yeah.
you give people heart attacks when you. But I mean, it's not necessarily wrong. And here's the thing, because I have seen rumors online, like you see all that stuff on social media, right? That in 2032 they're going to scrap the Magic and the Wonder because they'll have all the new ships because they're going to order more. But here's the thing. We don't know because Disney Cruise Line has never been in a place with the fleet where they've aged out ships and scrapped them or sold them to another line. But like Royal Caribbean, they have, right? Because they've had this mega fleet forever and they've gone through phases where they've brought on so many ships at this point that they've had these mega ships, and like they have gone to where their oldest ships are just obsolete. I don't think the Magic and the Wonder they're not even close to being obsolete. I think they're like in a prime demographic. For one thing, they need these ships to get through the Panama Canal, and
Mhm.
can't get these mega ships through the Panama Canal.
Right.
And so you got to consider that. That's a huge consideration if you want to zip zap and back forth between the east and the west coast.
And Alaska too has a restriction on size as well. So
I mean, the thing is, I think some people worry about things like that. I mean, I can't worry about 2036, like I can't, I hope I get through the marathon on Sunday, like, dude.
I hear you. No, and I don't
Yeah.
want them to, and I don't think they will. But like part of me, like just a little part of me thinks like, oh, I better get on those now,
Oh,
while
yeah,
they're,
yeah.
cranking out new ships, but
Mhm.
But I think that's what's great about, like when we've been doing this podcast for a while, and I think that's what keeps Disney podcasts going. Because when you look at like when I look at this, like I go into the numbers and I see like what podcasts are doing well, like in travel and leisure, like on the Apple podcast listings. And it's crazy because you go in there and you see like, this is travel, but out of the top 100, there'll be 25 podcasts that are Disney podcasts. I mean, you think about that from an outsider, people are probably like,
What is
What
going
is
on?
going
Yeah.
25 of the top 100 travel podcasts be focused on Disney, like that's nuts. But when you think about it, like there's so many dynamics to Disney, how many ways you can like, think about how you go on vacations and the history and it could be the art, the movies. But, with Cruise Line, I like to think about it as the variety of it all. Like, like you want to be on all the ships and I want to get back to the Magic because I haven't been, on it in 25 years. But it's a different experience because again, I haven't had that in forever. My family hasn't been on the Magic and it's going to a new place. Like I've never been to Lighthouse Point. I want to check that out. And it's always going to give you a different experience. I think that's the beauty of Walt Disney World, right? I mean, I haven't stayed at the Contemporary and I want to do that. I want to stay at a Pixar place. I want to eat at Maple, the Great Maple.
Oh,
Mhm.
that's a good spot.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, you can go and have you can go to the same places because when people look at you as a Disney fan, oh, you're going to Disneyland again. Oh, you're going on a Disney cruise again. Yeah, I am, but it can be a totally different vacation. But people don't see that. I think a lot of us, have that kind of, we have to almost defend ourselves a lot of times to people that see that we're doing Disney again. I don't know.
Yeah.
You just see that?
Agree with that. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah,
for sure.
That's
And
fun.
add Adventures by Disney into that
That's
too.
good.
And then you're going to places. First of all, Adventures by Disney, you're going to places that are on that bucket list, right? And then you add Nat Geo to the Adventures by Disney family, and you're going to places that such a small portion of the population will ever go. Like
And
they
having
aren't just
experiences
bucket
that you
list.
could almost like dream about.
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
access.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible. So.
I was going to say, like, to everyone who, doesn't do Disney, like we, a lot of people that listen to a Disney podcast does Disney, they do think of, and right or wrong, they do think of the commercial, that they see all the time on TV of, oh, you're going to ride, Space Mountain again, or you're going to go ride, now Tiana's Bayou Adventure, or you're going to go, do this attraction or that attraction, and they don't necessarily think about, oh, you're staying at a different resort than you've ever stayed at. But they just think, oh, it's the Walt Disney World resort hotels. They're all the same, right? But no, they're not. Like, they have a different theme. They have different feels. They have different restaurants. There's different, every vacation is different, but for an outsider looking in, it all looks the same because they've never necessarily done it, or they haven't done it a lot, or, they haven't dove into the world like, we have here, who done a podcast for 17 years. So yeah.
Exactly. There's lots to talk about. But I mean, that's what makes it fun, because we could talk about cruise line one day, we could talk about the different types of rooms at French Quarter one day, we could talk about the counter service restaurants at the resorts, and I think that's our people, that's what makes it exciting for us. So 2025 going to be a big year, so hopefully you have a trip on your horizon. If you don't, let's make that happen. So don't forget, our show always brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. See how we just went right into that. We'd love to take care of you. No cost when you use our services. That's the greatest thing. It costs the exact same as booking through Disney. And many times you're going to get, first of all, you're going to get great service each and every time. We're going to look for the discounts. We're going to apply those for you. And also, a lot of times with Disney World packages, you're going to get little goodies like travel bags, Disney gift cards, stuff like that. Disneyland as well. And for cruise line, onboard credits that spend just like cash when you're on the ship. So you can buy some drinks. You can take a spa appointment. Adult dining is popular. Just don't use it on your tips. And if you do, just don't tell me, because I will find you. No, just kidding. If you do, just don't tell me. But no, seriously, you support our podcast when you do that, and you get great service. So it's a win-win-win. So check out all the details today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link, beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. When you shop online, that really helps us out, and become a patron of the show. Thanks to our patrons who are there already. We really appreciate that. And you can support us as well, just $5 a month. Check us out over at patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. When you do, you get a bonus show every week called Mike in the Midwest. Give us all a follow on the social media. I'm at beourguestmike on Instagram, Twitter, and Threads. Scott's at Epscott, EPSCOT. But more importantly, check them out at Must See Adventures on YouTube. Subscribe, like, check out all the videos. Scott, real quick, what's going on this weekend over at Must See Adventures?
We just wrapped up day 14 on Royal Caribbean's Anthem of the Seas at Mount St. Michel. We celebrated 4th of July on the ship. And I think I talked about this before, but I'm going to say it again. It was just funny. On a ship that left out of England, on a day we spent in France, we celebrated 4th of July like I've never celebrated 4th of July before. It was unbelievable. So a lot of fun there. And then we'll be traveling to Disneyland Paris on the next episode.
Could it get more international than that?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Happy 4th of July from France and England, and going to Paris for some Disney fun. Nice. Check it out this weekend. Must See Adventures, YouTube. Subscribe and watch everything. All right. Also, Rikki at a DisneyWorldAfterAll.com. Check her out over there. Rikki Nibs. Rikki, what's going on at the site? It's kind of hard to say. We're a little time out.
Yeah, no, definitely got some information on the site about those discounts that have been released. So, there's some great discounts. Obviously, free dining is back in a huge way, especially because it's back for the summer. Hello. That's like, I don't think ever been done. So, or if it has, it hasn't been done in a long time. So that's huge. And there's also, if you're going to Disneyland here soon, there's a new sipper that's coming too. That's the Bride. So that's exciting for those who like to collect the sippers. And
I'm going to Disneyland soon.
Let's say, Mike, you're a sipper collector now. It seems.
Yeah,
like.
Exactly.
Hang on. Can you see him? Where is he? He's right. Nope. Where'd he go?
Yeah.
So I put him on the shelf. I got the Haunted Mansion guy.
Oh,
right here. I moved him over here. He's over here on the fridge.
So the sipper comes out on the 14th. So you should be able to get it.
I'll be out there on the 29th.
Yeah. So you should be able to get it potentially.
Yes.
Yes.
Another thing to put on a shelf.
Take home and bring it on a shelf. Yes, exactly.
Yes, perfect.
Yes.
All right. Well, thanks for that heads up.
You're
nice.
welcome.
All right, Pam Forrester, check out a TMFLT Pam. Pam, just the same old like me. I don't have much going on other than the show.
No, it's just I'm just glad to be here.
It's
happy to be here.
I'm just updating all my pictures on Instagram, basically, videos and stuff like that. So that's it. All right. So join us in the clubhouse, beourguestpodcast.com/clubhouse, where I'll be posting all the stuff from this weekend. And no live show Sunday night because, of course, I am down at Walt Disney World, but we'll have one next Sunday night. So until then, we'll have the shows this week. So join us for that. So for Scott, Pam, and Ricky, I'm Mike wishing you a great weekend. Good luck to all the runners. Have fun this weekend. Enjoy the miles, enjoy the medals, and big smiles for Kim when you see her out there on the course. And thanks to all the cast members and all the volunteers who are making this happen for us. Couldn't do it without you. So we'll see you guys. Have a great weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. Boom. That's fun.
Yay, we did a podcast.
We did.
Did it.
Dude, that ended up being like a cruise line episode, basically.
I know.
Clearly.
I know.
It was good. Dude, I'm all in on cruise line right now. I don't know what it is, but I am.
All right. Well,
All right.
so next Tuesday, though.
Tuesday.
See you guys Tuesday.
All right.
All right. See y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.